Hello, it's Moira here, and in this tutorial we're going to look at how to fix a missing drop treble by two different methods. Method 1 is to work a drop treble into the missing stitch, and method 2 is to use a darning needle and stitch a false treble stitch in. I would trial both methods, and it will depend on the yarn which method is most suitable to your project. As we can see here, I'm missing a drop treble in my border. So to add my drop treble, I'm going to work with method 1, work a drop treble into the missing stitch. Step 1 is telling me to insert my hook into the front loop of the stitch to the right of the missing drop treble and pull the yarn through. So let's go do this. So there's the stitch to the right of where I would normally have made my drop treble, and that's the stitch that I'm going to insert my hook into. Insert your hook from the bottom up, and I'm going to now attach my yarn. You can leave your yarn attached to the ball or cut it as you wish, and I'm just attaching it like that. It's really only just to give me something to actually work my stitch from. The first part of step 2 instructions tell me to work the drop treble stitch until the last 2 stitches. So work your treble stitch into the stitch 2 rows below where you would normally work it, and I'm working to the last 2 stitches on my hook and stopping. Then my instructions tell me to pull the yarn through the first loop only. There we go. I then have to remove my hook from the 2 loops that are left and pull the yarn through the first loop. However, if your yarn is attached to the ball, you'll need to snip your yarn before you can do this. I can now pull the yarn through that first loop. It's effectively fastening off the yarn. And then I'm pulling the yarn out of the first stitch I started on. I'm pulling it from the top, and I've released that drop treble stitch from above. I now have to anchor my drop treble into the stitch above, and to do this I need to insert my hook from behind through the centre of the missing stitch and pull those 2 ends through. So just before I go behind, I'm just going to identify where I'm going to put my hook through. So you can see where I'm actually wanting to push it through from behind, where I've just inserted it there. Once you've identified where to insert your hook from, insert it from behind so you can grab those 2 ends. Alternatively, you could use a darning needle and darn the ends through. I'm just going to pull the 2 ends through with my hook, and then the ends will be ready to weave in at the back. Those ends are now ready to weave in. Now we've actually got our nice new drop treble worked in at the front. I'm not going to weave the ends in because I'm going to pull those out so I can actually demonstrate method 2 for you. So our method 2 of creating a drop treble is to use a darning needle and stitch a false treble in. We're ready to start at step 2. We're inserting our needle from behind through the centre of our missing stitch on the top row of the treble. Insert your needle from behind and pull your yarn through. Remember to leave a reasonable amount of yarn to weave in at the end. Step 3 is to insert our needle from the bottom up through the front loop of the stitch 2 rows below. So we've just made a loop. We're now going to insert our needle to the right of the loop that we've just made. So needle to the right of the loop that we've just made, and we're pulling it through to the back. We're then going to use the yarn and insert our needle from behind to the left of the loop that we've just made. We're now on step 6, and we're going to create a little bar across the stitch that we've just created. So we're going to insert our needle to the right of the loop that we've created, and that creates a little bar at the front. And that completes our false treble. And the final step is weaving in our ends. So, two different methods to add that treble back in that's missing. Which one you use is really up to you. Have a go with both of them. If you have found this video tutorial useful, please do subscribe to Daisyknots YouTube channel. Thank you.